Okay, sup you chuckle fucks, it's your boy Dark Raccoon here with What If Issei was trained by 3 strongest swordsmen, part 4? Wait, no, not 4. Wait. Yes, 4. Now, before I continue on, I should mention one thing. I had the biggest smile on my face because I was reading Overgear, and not gonna lie, it just made me fucking laugh. But yeah, my jaw kind of hurts, but not the point. I've just been laughing, chuckling. But I should also mention one thing. I'm not going to be able to record tomorrow. If I can, then I will. Then if I can, I will. But if I can't, it's going to be just a headache the whole day because, well, my dumbass sibling can't not get in trouble for mostly less than just a day. That dumbass really screwed himself over and me over because we gotta go fucking work somewhere else. How the fuck do I get in trouble for random shit that they have to do? Yeah, complete bullshit, but whatever. But let me just begin to this what if and let me shut the fuck up. Sorry about that, but yeah. It might be short, but not the point. So let me begin into part 4, and let me begin. Okay, so we begin into mostly Issei. Well, mostly Issei Hyodo. He's right now in the ORC with mostly the others. And I mean, yes, all the other members of the Parage. That being what's it called? Ria Scremery, Ozzy Argento, Akuno Hinjima, and also what's it called? Koneko Taiju. But also, well, Yumi, what's it called? Yuta's there. This is where, well, mostly Ria's, Akuno, and Koneko are just kind of looking at Yumi. Even Ozzy confusedly, until Yumi kind of just says, well, I've always been a girl, Rias, you know that, right? That's where, well, Rias was dumbfounded after realizing that Yumi was always a girl and not a boy. So, of course, she realized that Kiba was not a natural boy, but a natural girl. She sweat drops in an instant, realizing that, well, she just always expected Kiba to be a boy and never a girl. This is where, well, Yumi was sweat dropping, like, yeah. This is where Akuno was just shocked, and of course, instead of saying Ara, she was just shocked for the first time. Even Koneko. Now, of course, where, well, Koneko always had this very strange feeling that she was always comfortable with mostly Kiba. Now that she realized that it's actually a girl, no wonder it's so comfortable. But yeah, this is where, well, she then kind of sees, well, mostly all the girls turn towards Issei to actually see if he's actually a girl. This is where, well, Issei says, I'm a fucking dude, dumbasses. Fuck off. This is where, well, most Issei said was literally just a tone of, I'm really a fucking dude. This is where, well, Ria said, okay, prove it then. Issei said, I'm not gonna fucking prove shit to you. If all for I know, I'd rather show it to Yumi than any of you. Besides, I see Ozzy as a sister. I don't like you, red hair. This is where, well, mostly Ria is just shocked to believe that. This is where Issei said, I don't want to show it to Akuno because Akuno can go ara and whatever bullshit. It would just feel very weird. And Koneko, she's still a child. I'm not going to do that to her. This is where, well, mostly all of them kind of sweat up and, of course, just nodded. This is where, well, even Ozzy was just shocked to believe that only Issei just sees her as a sister and that's all. Doesn't see her anything else. Doesn't see her as a relationship or any of that. This is where Yumi was blushing because she was just shocked to believe that Issei would show her instead. This is where, well, she was blushing, looking away. Of course, she was flustered that Issei even thought of it like that. And of course, she then thinks she might be having a chance to actually go out with Issei. This is where, well, before anything happens, this is where, well, a magic circle of silver kind of magic circle appears, and that is known as the Grace-B. Grace-B wanted to explain what happens, but this is where, well, another magic circle appeared. But this time of the Phoenix, being that of Riser Phoenix. Riser appears, Riser's kind of doing the same thing in original canon, rambling on, saying that his name is Riser Phoenix, that he's the fiance of blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's the same thing. Of course, he does kind of come in with his Parage members, and of course, he then kind of threatened Rias about if he doesn't marry him right now, then he will actually burn, well, the members of the Parage, starting off with the male, because he doesn't really want to burn the female because they all look pretty good, in his opinion. And this is where, well, he was about to kind of like put his hand towards mostly Issei's face. Yeah, Riser's hand was literally gone. Issei says, what the hell was that? I thought I saw some Kentucky Fried Chicken right in front of me, threatening me that he will cook me, even though his ass is already cooked. This is where Riser glares at Issei, and this is where, well, he then right now tries to attack Issei again until his hand is gone again. Riser's glaring at Issei multiple times. He says, what do you think I'm doing? Doing nothing to you. What sword do you think I have? Why is your arm getting cut off multiple times? This is where, well, Graceberry is shocked. She can barely even keep up with the movements of mostly Issei. Issei's swordsman style is much more faster than anyone can keep up when Issei is pissed. When Issei is pissed, there's no going back. Riser's hand is being regenerated over and over and over. He is just having enough of this, and this is where his body right now explodes with fire. And this is where, well, he says, die! This is where he just says, die? Well, hi, die. The name's Issei, but not the point. This is where, well, Issei right now just swings his hand to the left, and this is where Riser's head was literally cut off. This is where, well, Riser kind of just gets his head back again, thanks to the flames, and Graceberry right now makes an ice wall right in front of them. Graceberry is shocked. This is none other than the 8 pawn piece, and this is where the 8 pawn piece is making fun of Riser. This is where, well, literally does not care about his regeneration. It seems that most Issei is making a game out of this, because literally Issei says, look at that. That's literally 7 strikes for me and you 0 hits ever. You suck. This is where, well, Riser's right now wanting to explode a fucking casket because how much Issei is just kind of keep literally playing him down. Which Issei is doing that on purpose just because why the fuck not. But this is where, well, Graceberry stops, mostly intervenes in both of them and says, okay, all of you need to stop. This is where, well, she tells Riser that mostly in 10 days there will be a battle between mostly the Grimoire and Riser. Riser says that he doesn't want Issei to be in it until Issei says, you realize I'm an 8 pawn piece, dumbass. I'm a part of her family, even if you like her or not. But your dumbass probably doesn't understand shit about that. This is where, well, right now Riser wanted to explode a fucking casket until mostly one of Riser's kind of servants, a knight, rushes towards Issei. And she did not survive in 2 seconds. This is where Issei right now looks at her. Didn't even care. He uses a bit of conquer socket just to knock her out. This is where, well, mostly Issei like, was that really all? This is where Riser exploded a fucking casket because he couldn't really contain himself. But he just had it to be frozen instantly by Graceberry because truly, he is just pissed the fuck off of Issei because he clearly knocked out almost all of Riser's barrage members. Yes, with that one just spike of Conquer Saki, he knocked almost all of them out. Issei didn't really want to do that. He did that in accident because he just wanted to just release a bit of power. Of course, it did shock Riser, but Riser didn't get knocked out because it was just a bit. This is where, well, everyone else from Riser's barrage just got knocked the fuck out. Almost was it called Konoko? Akano, even Rias almost passed out. Azia wasn't really affected because she was actually next to Kiba, and Kiba wasn't affected too much. This is where, well, not Kiba, mostly Yumi. But yeah, I'm gonna keep forgetting Kiba's actually a girl in this one. But not the point. But this is where, well, mostly all of them were just shocked, and this is where, well, Graceberry has felt that power is none other than the Conqueror Saki. She is shocked to believe that Issei is a Conqueror user. This is where, well, mostly devils in the supernatural does consider those who can use Conqueror Saki or Arbitration or Armament Hawking, but those who can use Conqueror Saki, they call them the Conqueror users. But yeah, now of course Graceberry knows that this person's a Conqueror Hawking user and clearly can just easily knock out Riser's whole fucking team without a goddamn care in the world. This is where, well, Graceberry says, okay, we will see you in 10 days, my lady, okay? This is where, well, she teleports with mostly the whole team of Riser and done. This is where, well, there was no making out bullcrap of Riser just talking, smacking other things and making out with Yuba Luna or whatever her goddamn name is. Also, Yuba Luna almost passed the fuck out, but yeah. And this is where, well, she was close to literally getting knocked out. But this is where, well, Issei says, so, what are we doing? This is where, well, Issei looks at Rias. Rias says, okay, we're going to be training for 10 days. This is where, well, she explains where they're going to meet. And Issei kind of says, yeah, no. This is where Rias says, what do you mean, yeah, no? Issei says, I'm going to go be training with someone else, not with you. This is where, well, Rias says, what do you mean not with me? This is where, well, she then says that she's a part of the Barrage and family and other thing. Issei just released a little bit more Conqueror so I can just shut her the fuck up. She literally passed out after that. Issei says, other than that, I'm going to be going to train by myself with one of my senseis because I haven't actually finished training with him. Other than that, by saying, yeah, fuck off. This is where, well, Issei walks away. But this is where, well, Yumi actually grabs his hand. This is where Yumi actually questions if she can go with him to actually train. This is where, well, Issei looks at Yumi and says no. Because his sensei only specifically kind of likes him and not many other people. This is where, well, mostly Yumi was saddened. But this is where, well, she then says, what about our date? Issei kind of holds onto her hand and right now had both of his eyes looking straight into her own eyes. And this is where, well, it looked like straight up out of a movie because like sunlight was smashing into like the ORC building, and of course a little bit of like lights kind of just smashed into their faces. But this is where, well, it was kind of just like a little bit of light upon Issei's face, and this is where, well, Issei says, "Don't worry, I'll be going on the date with you and the other girls." This is where, well, Yumi kind of blushes and then says, "Yes, I know." This is where, oh, her face is all red and blushing. This is where, oh, we go into a time skip later on. Now, it's been actually kind of a couple of days. Now, of course, Rias woke up. She was very angry and frustrated because she won't be able to see Issei's skills entirely. Issei went on to train with Kisuke Urahara, but not the point. He trained for him with strategy, tactical, and other things, but he also kind of trained with something else. Something special for only Soul Reapers to only know about. Well, mostly Kisuke Urahara, he knows about a little bit of Issei's abilities, and he does know about one thing that Issei can truly do. That not many people know about this, and he's not a Soul Reaper entirely. So it's kind of confusing still to know about this, but whatever. This is why, well, right now Issei learned something from Kisuke Urahara that only had to take 3 days. Well, mostly it takes multiple years. It takes at least like so many years, like at least like 20 years or even 100 years to master this technique. But Kisuke Urahara explains that it only took him 3 days. 3 to mostly 4 days. That's the maximum of kind of learning this technique. This way, well, Issei kind of proved Kisuke Urahara wrong and said that he learned in only 2 days. Which made Kisuke Urahara shocked, but then smiled because he wasn't expecting that he was going to train literally a prodigy in Swordsman. But whatever. This is where, well, we go into mostly a time skip of Issei appearing next to mostly the others. Now, of course, Ria didn't even notice this, and of course, well, she was shocked to believe that Issei was with them now. She was wondering where the fuck he was at. She was getting nervous until Issei appears, and no one really sensed him. But yeah, this is where Yumi was shocked, and of course, she was happy. She was really happy. She was wearing this kind of outfit. Let me show you. So, of course, she was kind of wearing this, but yeah. This is where, well, Yumi was so happy to see Issei again, and this is where, well, she actually run up to him and hugged him. This is where, well, she was actually kind of getting scared of the fact that Issei wasn't going to show up, because mostly Rias pissed him off probably enough for the fact that he doesn't really want to help her at all, but yeah. But Issei said that he didn't really mind, he just had to work on some things before coming over here. But Issei straight up just kind of looks like, well, like this. So Issei is kind of wearing something like this, like a blue kind of button-up shirt that's kind of white a little bit, but not the point, with a black jacket that kind of looks like that, kind of dark blue pants, but not the point, and of course he does have necklaces, which 2 of them, but not the point, that kind of is right in front, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of smiles at Yumi, while Yumi is blushing and a little flustered with mostly Issei. This is where, well, mostly Ria's coughs her hand and says, okay, this is the plan. This is where it kind of goes in the original canon. But this is where, well, right now Ria's kind of tells Issei to come over here so she can release the palm piece of power. And of course, when she does, it had it to, well, mostly when she asked him to lay on her lap, Issei literally just sits in front. He didn't lay on her lap. What the fuck is that? Nah. He's not really interested in Rias at all. Not at all. She's not a swordsman, so he's not interested in one bit or any of that. So, of course, well, Rias switched up, of course, she releases the palm pieces, but this is where, well, for some reason, it was kind of odd a little bit. It felt like they were trying to be restricted and an instant being consumed, but this is where, well, she didn't really mind or pay attention too much because she needed to kind of go into mostly a strategy of battle between Rise or Phoenix. But, of course, mostly Issei had to go with Koneko to kind of fight against mostly some of the, palm pieces of, well, Riser and some of the rook pieces at the gym. So yeah, we go into that. We go into mostly Issei getting into mostly the battle between the kind of palm pieces. Now, it's 2 girls with 2 chainsaws and a girl with mostly a stick rushes straight towards Issei. Issei looks at them and says, well, this is the smallest knife I have. This is where Issei pulls out the little dagger knife that he has, the kind of symbol of the upside down cross. And this is where he says, sorry, but this is the smallest knife I got. This is where he then swings the knife straight down. And this is where a huge burst of like green flash kind of appears. It kind of looks like this. like this right here. Well, mostly Yuhabao does. I mean, not you, not Yuhabao. Well, you're not Yuhabao. Mostly Mihawk. But yeah, pretty much he kind of does that face and then just swings a huge slash. Now, of course, I know this is edited, but not the point. But yeah. But this is where, well, that huge attack really would just wipe those 3 pawn pieces off the face of the earth. This is where the rope was wide in her eyes, but this is where, well, before she can even react, Issei already grabs her from the face and just stabbed the knife into her, like near her heart, but just hitting a pressure point, just kind of knocking her out and making her disappear. Issei says, done, let's just leave. This is where Koneko just saw how mostly Issei just defeated them. No care at all. This is where, well, they leave. Of course, Koneko tells mostly, what's it called? Well, mostly tells Akano to blow it up. Akano does. And this is where, well, before mostly, Koneko and Issei can leave, Issei felt like something was about to attack them. This is where Issei saw the future. This is where he grabs Koneko out of the way and kind of just tosses her away before kind of grabbing the sword out of his own sheath. And this is where Issei says, atomic slashes. Well, mostly it's called atomic slash. This is what he does so fast, atomic slash, and you Belluna, mostly the girl with the explosion, the queen, she cannot react fast enough because Issei literally appeared behind her in an instant, and this is where Issei say atomic slash. This is where one of his swords, boom. This is where she was obliterated from existence. She was eliminated. This is where, well, mostly gracefully says, the queen of mostly Riser Phoenix has been eliminated. Everyone who was watching this just widened their eyes. Those technique slashes, even Grace was shocked because she has seen them before. Against one hero that actually is quite powerful, human hero. That is none other than Atomic Samurai. This is where, well, they're shocked to believe they have an alliance like that, man. This is where, well, Grace was shocked to believe that. Because she knows that mostly the hero organization and the hero kind of faction are 2 different complete beings, but at the same time, they do not like the supernatural at all. Literally, the hero kind of faction hates the supernatural's guts, while the hero organization literally just doesn't want the supernatural to target humans, which that means they will literally eliminate the eliminate the devils who would try to hurt the humans. So yeah. So of course, the supernatural does not have a really good relationship with mostly those types of martial organization in faction. But yeah, and yes, the organization and faction are complete different beings because one does kind of interact with the supernatural more often than normal, while the other actually interacts with monsters. But yeah. This is where, well, we go into mostly Kaneko's shock. Even Akano is just shocked to see Issei just eliminate her fast. Issei says, let's go now. This is where Koneko says, yes. This is where, well, they're kind of running. This is where, well, they meet more pawn pieces and even rook pieces of, well, another rook piece and another couple of pawns of, what's it called, well, Riser Phoenix Barrage. And before they can even, like, rush towards Issei and even Koneko, Issei disappears in an instant. Or not disappears. It wasn't even him that managed to kill them. It was actually, well, mostly Yumi. Yumi appeared out of nowhere, and this is where her sword was actually glowing brightly. It was a rainbowish color. It looked like this. It looked like this. Kind of a rainbowish, kind of like luminous kind of color. That's where she swings her sword once down, and they obliterate almost all of them. This is where Issei sweat drops. And of course, he then whistles a... Pretty powerful, don't you think, Yumi? Yumi blushes and looks behind and says, yeah, it is powerful. Thanks for actually helping me actually control a little bit of this power. And yes, it's created with kind of holy energy a little bit that she kind of has for mostly the experiment. Even though she kind of hates holy energy and anything that kind of goes with mostly the Excaliburs, she kind of was encouraged to kind of use this by Issei. And of course, she kind of gets reminded of always Issei's face and how mostly he encouraged her to use it. So of course, this is why this is the only time she will ever use a kind of like holy, well, multiple element sword. But yeah, it's kind of, what was it? What did I call it again? It's called the heavenly element sword. But yeah, heavenly element sword. This is where, well, mostly Yumi says, okay, then we gotta go then. This is where, well, Issei and Yumi and mostly Koneko Nari, and this is where, well, we go into mostly them running towards, well, mostly some bishops and also some knights. Of course, this is where Akano's up in the air and she dodges a fireball from mostly, well, one of the bishops. Yes, there was none other than what's it called, Raffle Phoenix, and this is where, well, Issei says, I take care of 2 of the knights. This is where Yumi says, no fair, it's me. This is where, well, mostly she kind of pouts and kind of glares at Issei. Issei says, fine, you take care of one of them. This is where, well, mostly Yumi kind of smiles at Issei gently, while Issei kind of just smiles back at her with gently face. This is where, well, mostly making Yumi kind of blush. But this is where, well, the two knights of mostly Riser are getting ready. One of them right now has a sword, mostly katana, who is actually prepared to fight against Issei, while the other one is kind of like a sword user, the one with the fire sword. This is where, well, she's thinking that she will be able to win against mostly Yumi. Of course, she's the one with the mask most of the time. The other one kind of looks like, well, it's not entirely the girl with mostly, what's it called? Well, wait, let me see, remember. So, it's one with the great sword and, of course, bandages somewhere on her head. And this is where, oh, she rushes at Issei saying, die! This is where, well, Issei says, sorry, but this is really the only smallest knife I have. This is where, well, he stabs into her chest, and this is where she easily got killed. This is where, or eliminated. Right now, Yumi easily obliterates the knight, and this is where, well, mostly Koneko easily defeats one of the bishops, while Akuno looks at Raffle, and Raffle realizes that she completely almost lost, and this is where, she realizes that she's an immortal phoenix, so of course, she won't get hurt too much. This is where, she then says, I'm not gonna die too easily, but I want to let you get past me. This is where Issei right now narrows his eyes, and this is where Issei, right now, his knife, the little unholy dagger knife, Issei says one word, and this is where, well, he then says, Shikai release, Akumu. This is where the knife actually turned into a black blade for a second, and this is where, well, for a second before even, Raffle can even react, she already had a slash on her chest in an instant. This is where Issei right now looks at her with cold dead eyes, but one of them were red for a second. This is where, well, it showed to be a different person for almost a glimpse of a second. Red eyes with black hair. Darker black hair than mostly brown. This is where, well, mostly before she can even react what happened, she was eliminated in an instant. This is where, well, the knife he has in his hand turned back into a knife. This is where, well, mostly the three girls wind their eyes and just blink because they're confused on how Issei managed to eliminate the phoenix. Right now, even Raffle was shocked. She felt like she was just attacked from her soul. The sword wasn't aiming for mostly her, well, entire, well, mostly chest. She didn't have a scratch. She didn't have a huge slash when she appeared back into the, well, out of the stadium. She was shocked. She was confused what exactly happened. But she felt like this horrible feeling that she, like, only felt once in her life. Well, multiple times in her life. And that is mostly sometimes in her dreams. Mostly something called a nightmare. But she was confused in why she felt that. She kind of, like, dreamed, like, it felt like a dream, but it didn't feel like a dream with that slash hair. It was confusing. But not the point. Issei says, let's go then. This is where, well, they hear an explosion and hear mostly seeing Rias fighting against Riser. Issei says, that stupid bitch! This is where, well, mostly Issei screams out. This is where, well, Yumi says, oh, damn it, Rias! This is where, well, both Akuno and Koneko can see mostly Yumi and Issei's frustration. This is where, well, Issei says, let's go ready. This is where, well, mostly they rush towards mostly Riser. Riser's angry and right now not letting Rias. He was about to eliminate her entirely. Right now, Asia's managing to heal her. And this is where, well, right now, Riser gets angry and right now sends a very huge fireball straight towards, well, Asia, eliminating her in an instant. This is where Issei saw the whole scene, and this is where, well, Rias screams at Asia saying, no, Asia! Issei says, Asia! This is where he sees Asia burning, and she disappears. This is where, well, she smiles saying, sorry, Issei. Her face was a little bit burnt and hurt, and this is where she disappeared. This is where Issei was pissed. This is where, well, Rias was angry, and this is where she had her destruction net until this is where she gets her collar grabbed by Issei in an instant and thrown straight back towards mostly the other, like, Akuno and even, Koneko. They managed to catch her, and this is where, well, mostly Koneko says, hey, you idiot, what the hell, baka? This is where Yumi saw mostly Issei's, mostly, like, this aura right now, darkness aura appearing around him. This is where, well, Yumi says, shut up, Koneko. This is where, well, mostly Akuno tries to say something, and this is where Yumi glares at her. This is where Rias was about to say something until right now Yumi says, shut up. This was your stupid fucking fault. You said that we were going to go into all together. Why the hell did your arrogant ass, double high pride, idiotic moron decide to go in together with the fucking bishop? This is where, well, mostly Rias shut up after hearing mostly Yumi's words. And this is where, well, Issei looks at Riser and Riser glares at mostly Issei because this is the whole problem started between this damn low-born human. This is where Riser thinks. Do you think you will be able to defeat me? I, Riser Phoenix, will be able to defeat you. This is where Issei says, shut up already. This is where, well, Issei pulls out the knife, the little dagger knife. And this is where, well, we'll see Riser says, and what did that little butter knife can even do to me? Issei says, quite a lot. And I'll show you. This is where, well, the knife transformed from a normal knife to a black blade. It kind of looked like this. Let me show you. This is where, well, it kind of looks like this small little black blade right here. So yeah, black and kind of reddish blade. This is where, well, we'll see Riser say, does that little sword can even do anything to me? No, it can't. Even though the sword is literally medium height. But yeah, or not medium height, it's the long katana, but not the point. Issei right now looks at Riser, and this is where Issei doesn't say Shikai release. No, he says something even worse. Bankai Aku. This is where, well, he says Aku no Kareme no Sekai. This is where, well, he then kind of, an explosion of pure darkness and malice, the sword transformed into a black blade like this. It literally went into this kind of look-alike blade right here. But it was like the blade itself is quite long. But this is where, well, mostly Issei's power around him, like this dark and malicious red energy appears around him. His hair went black, his eyes went red, his skin went gray, and of course his clothing also went gray entirely. This is where, well, mostly Issei looks at Riser with such a murderous look, and darkness literally covered both of them up. This is where, well, Riser does not understand what just happened. But all he understands is 1 second passed. But it didn't even feel like 1 second. It passed more than that. It felt like 1 second, but that was not the case. It was more than 1 second, 1 minute, no, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 year, 1 millennia. He didn't understand what was happening in this place, but this dimension. No, this place distorted time at all of it. Just destroyed it all. It felt like those that he believed that it was only 1 second. It felt more than just an eternity in there. This is where, well, all he saw was pure creatures of pure nightmare and terror. Creatures that he only dreamed when he was little. Monsters that he believed that were just not entirely below him because he believed that they were mostly above him. Monsters that will rip him apart, rip his soul, rip him apart even if he was immortal. This was just consumed full of nightmares. Nightmares that he refused to ever dream. Nightmares that he believes that he was now above them. But no, they were truly above him. This is where, well, all he saw was nothing but pure terror, horror, stuff that he never even wished upon his worst enemies. Nightmares that literally appear out of nowhere, ripping him apart. He could only reach to the sky, the dark red sky, the swirling red sky, while reaching his hand up in the air, while screaming like pain. This is where, well, but every time he screamed, nothing came out. This is where, well, he was just looking at the sky, nothing but tears falling down from his face. His bluish eyes are right now, his bluish and mostly the white kind of in his iris, where it's now mostly a red iris. And this is where, well, mostly his like bluish eyes were darkened. This is where his blondish hair was now messed with blood and mostly, well, dirty blonde. But yeah, this is where, well, he was screaming. His phoenix powers did not work. It was getting nullified in an instant. All he saw was nothing but pure and pure, utter, defeated, fear, despair, annihilation. There was nothing for him to do. There was nothing for him to escape. Nothing could ever, escape from this domain. But this is where, well, mostly we go into mostly a time skip now, later on. We go into mostly the Gremory Barrage managed to win because they did not understand what happened to Riser. It was 1 second a ball there, and then the next second Riser was knocked out and literally disappearing. Riser does not understand what happened neither, but all the time he sees darkness or shadows or any of that in his room, he just screams in terror. Nothing but just pure terror. His mind is all fucked up in an instant. No, every time he sees Issei, it's nothing but just a terrifying monster that he sees. Issei's body went back to normal. And this is where, well, the dagger that he had was just back to normal. This is where, well, Issei didn't really care and didn't say anything towards anyone. But one person that was actually watching this, because even though he managed to get to the underworld, was watching this in interest. He does know about Issei's Bankai, the technique that he managed to teach Issei in 2 days. Well, mostly he mastered it in 2 days. Yes, a technique that's pretty much the full power of your soul. The power that you can release from your soul. But yeah, Shinigamis have this ability. They use it most of the time when there's a dire situation. Or sometimes when they're extremely angry. But this is where, well, the person had a bucket hat on his head. Right now, wear kind of black but green clothing and had mostly a cane and kind of just smiles at Issei while disappearing. But yeah, this is where, well, we go into a time skip later on. Rias is free from her marriage, and of course, every high-ranking double does not want to piss off Issei. But what's more shocking is when mostly Issei met mostly the great, the red-haired Lucifer, being, well, mostly the older brother of Rias. Issei literally said that he asked for a favor. And right now, Swordsmans smiles and says, sure, what will that be? Issei said that he wants to be mostly free from being a devil. That also means that he does not want to be a devil. He literally rather become back to being a normal human. Right now, shocking almost everyone that was in the, what's it called, mostly celebration somewhat. Everyone was just shocked to hear that this samurai, this kid, who literally scarred both of the Phoenix children, wants to go back to being a normal human. He doesn't even want to be in this whole supernatural bullcrap. But he can't really escape it because, well, he's in it in the first place. So some people wanted to protest against him, but this is where some of them were shut up in an instant thanks to Issei's conqueror's hawking. Right now, making Swordsmans shocked to feel this power. He's a conqueror user. He tried to plead with Issei, and Issei literally said, no, fuck off. This is where, well, he also asked mostly Yumi to actually become also back into a normal human. This is where making Rhea shocked, and right now tries to protest until Issei right now had a sword into her neck and saying, shut the hell up. You don't have any excuse to try to ask for our lives. This is our lives, not yours. Your stupid ass would try to just kill us again because you can't fucking decide from your arrogant ass pride half the damn time. This is where, well, making Rhea shocked. This is where, well, making, well, her almost cry, but yeah. This is where, well, this is where Ozzy says, what about me? Issei says, Ozzy, I love you dearly, but God, you have to stand up for yourself once in your goddamn life. Don't fucking let people push you around. I also want my sister, Ozzy Argento, to not be a devil. This is where, well, see, Sword Chops and says, well, there's not really a way for you to get out of being a devil, but maybe I can just turn you into a free piece. This is where, well, mostly Arzax is trying to plead with them not to turn back into humans, because they will lose very valuable assets. Until someone appeared behind, well, mostly all of them. This is where, well, mostly behind these and says, maybe I can help. This is where a person with a top, well, mostly not a top hat, mostly a bucket hat, and of course having blondish hair. His eyes are covered up and does have a cane and does wear green and black. Issei turns around because he felt the spiritual reality before. Issei says, Sensei, what are you doing here? This is where Issei questions out the man. The man says, don't worry, Issei. I can help you out and get rid of those evil pieces. You know, I can help you, your girlfriend, and even your, what's it called, little sister to get rid of those evil pieces. This is where, well, Swordsmans notices the person and winds his eyes. Urahara Kisuke, he says. This is where, well, mostly everyone kind of is seeing this, and seeing this person does have a very deadly aura around him. Something that you don't want to fucking fight most of the time. Even Swordsmans knows about this person. This person is quite smart, tactical, and quite powerful, can easily whoop his ass. One of the people that can easily whoop his ass back into, well, nothing, but yeah. But of course, everyone is kind of just shocked to see mostly what Kisuke Urahara does next. This is where Kisuke Urahara goes to mostly saying a Haro technique, and this is where, well, he managed to destroy the evil pieces in mostly Issei, Yumi, and also Azia. This is where they smile and they're all free. This is where, well, Azia says, so can I still go to school? Issei says, yep. This is where, well, mostly Yumi kind of hugs Issei and then kisses him. This is where, well, making Issei widen his eyes. But of course, he reciprocates the kiss, but yeah. This is where everyone is shocked to see this. Right now, Rias is jealous and explosive, angry, but she can't do anything. But yeah. This is where, well, we go into a time skip later on. Now, Issei does kind of work with Kisuke Urahara because Kisuke Urahara managed to save him and help him out with the whole problem. Of course, where Issei still needed to kind of go fight against mostly Dofi and, well, mostly with Law and Mugiwara. But for right now, I will be ending it off here for part 4 of this What If. Part 5 will probably be that scene. But other than that, bye, so, and yeah. But yeah, bye.